Hi everyone. It's been a while and I am back at college. Yay! And it is my second class and this is my first horsemanship class of the year. So it's just a lot really exciting stuff. So yeah, let's get into it. So as you guys have probably seen from my videos last year, but if you haven't, my horse was kind of a bucking bronc and not very sane or safe. So I'm really happy to report that she is not only sane but also safe and has been doing really well here, at least this semester. Still, she's not as great as she was back home, but that's to be expected, just because it's a different environment. It's a lot higher energy and activity level, so it just makes sense for her to not be quite as calm or composed. But yeah, so far she's been doing great. I have the same instructor I had for my class 2. And it's been really nice to kind of show off what my horse can actually kind of do. And she's not just a horse that I got on and was like, well, let's see if it works. I've actually put time and energy into her. So yeah, it's been really nice to kind of be like, guys, I swear I'm not the worst thing ever. So yeah, and it's been a lot of fun. I think I've also come out of my shell a little more because I'm not as hard on myself in a way where like I had such high expectations of myself and my horse last year that I was like, I can do this. I'm gonna be great. Like, if it doesn't work out, what the frick, and I'm just sitting here and I'm like, I've already kind of been through the ringer. So if I go through it again, yeah, it's gonna suck because it sucked a lot, but I'm not going to necessarily take it as personally this time, which I'm kind of like, yay, growth, mental growth. But yeah, Jet's been doing pretty well. She has a few spooks here and there, but once again, to be expected. She's young. This is kind of a spooky environment, so I can't really fault her for any of that. But yeah, so let me get into what we have been doing so far this week. Newsflash, I am also stopping doing the daily class day 4, class day 5. No. This is for only a block. So I have this class for 3.5 weeks and that's that. I cannot record and upload every day over the 3.5 weeks because I am also double blocking, which means this past week I haven't had a chance to really record at all. Barely had a chance to sleep. So yeah, so I'm just gonna do a weekly thing now. Hope y'all good with that. Cool, great. I also am thinking it'll probably be a lot more informational, or I guess dense in a way, not in a bad way, but it won't be as well, she was freaking out all day and that was that, and see you next time. It'll be more like, okay, so this is what happened on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. This is what we worked on throughout the week. This is the progress I've seen, that kind of stuff. Anyway, so our first day was mainly just review of last year's stuff where we're just like, okay, what do we know? What do we remember? Can our horses do it? Have you actually been working on it over the summer? Newsflash, I have. Not a lot, but a little. So that was a really nice chill day. The second day we worked on our straight lines and not holding them in a straight line. So basically giving them the responsibility to carry themselves straight without us holding them straight, if that makes any sense. And then we worked on our leads and just simple lead changes. Jet did really well, and I was super proud of her, and I was like, oh my gosh, 1, we have life, which is amazing. 2, her straight lines were straight, like so nice, partly because she had life. And like her lopes, not the greatest form, but we were able to actually lope around and stuff. And then my professor even, it was like, you know, I'd love to see like a collected lope. And I was like, okay. So then we did that. Not very much, just a little bit because she's still young. So yeah, and then day 3, we were working on our counter bends or counter arcs and that kind of stuff, and seeing what's the issue with it and that kind of thing. And then we did more straight line work, more loping. And this day, Jet pulled her thing she pulled last year during my first semester class that I didn't record or post about at all, where she would lope and then she would just go, no. But this time it wasn't she was loping and then all of a sudden just stopped. It was like, we're walking, I ask for the trot and she says no. And she just stops, puts on the brakes and says, you get a walk or nothing. And I was just like, okay, let's work through this. So that's what we're working on right now, is like getting her to be a little more with it, with me, you know, our communication, getting that better, and just not having to fight each other all the time. And I say that like we fight each other constantly. It's just for like transitions where it can be really rough sometimes. She's gotten a lot better, especially over the summer, because I went to this great horse clinic and I learned a lot of stuff, and I was like, oh my God, I'm actually being annoying to my horse. So I was like, all right, let's be less annoying and more like, hey, would you mind, you know? And that helped a lot. So there's that. And then can't quite remember what day 4 was. I think it was just more loping, more straight lines. We were working on our counter bends. We were working on going in a circle, slightly collected, like not quite, but like just vertical flexion. And then doing our counter bends, going from that back into the circle, doing a reverse arc, and then bringing our shoulders over, which was really great. And I got to work on our reverse arc, which used to be amazing, and then it kind of went downhill for a little bit, and not entirely sure why or what happened, but we're getting it better now. So that's really great. Yeah, and we just did a little more loping. We didn't do like a scheduled, okay, now you do loping, and now, you know, it was more half of the arena is for loping, the other half is for slow work. So I ended up actually pitching the reins for the slow work, because I was like, let's see how much she can do just based off of my legs and my seat, and not me like being like, hey, come over here with your nose, thank you. So, and she was able to do quite a bit, especially for a class setting. I was quite impressed with her ability to listen to my legs and seat. Was it perfect? Absolutely not. Did we do a lot better back home? Absolutely. But it like was really nice to see that some of it at least transferred, where I'm like, okay, she didn't lose all of it coming here. She just kind of is a little more like, there's so much to look at. There's so many horses, and just not quite there. Another issue that I'm having with her is she's fine at like a walk or a trot with people behind her and around her on horseback. But at the lope, she's not always great with people being behind her. And honestly, I don't blame her. Some of the people here, I'll be honest, do not know boundaries and bubbles with other horses. The amount of times I've had people where I didn't even know if they were gonna run into me or not. Yeah, so I'm like, I can't quite blame her for every little thing, because there was once where the girl wasn't looking where she was going. Jet kind of freaked out and she came right up on our butt, and I was like, yeah, you know, kind of glad you freaked out a little bit, because I would too if someone was gonna like run me over. But I digress. Now she kind of does it a little too much, where like horses that aren't even that close to her, she's like, get away from me, you know. So I'm just kind of like, okay, we gotta work on this. So I have my marching orders from my instructor, what to do for that, which is basically just getting her mind back with me and not quite as focused on the other horses around her, because it'll just be like, they'll be close enough. And it's really weird because we've gone to horse shows, we've been in small warm-up arenas, and she's been fine with horses loping behind her and right up next to her and everything. And then when I come here, she's like, nope, I don't know if she's like, you got a big arena, use it, or or what it is, but she's like, nope, you can't come that close to me. Here's my hoof. So yeah, today I'm just kind of gonna work on regulating her nervous system again, which is another thing I want to work on, which is what I think kind of caused her to be a little cuckoo last year, where she was just constantly on edge and in survival mode, kind of. So I'm really gonna work on her, like bringing her down, and then if she explodes up again, bringing her back down, that kind of a thing. So we're just going to be working on that for the groundwork portion, as well as like doing some groundwork, reverse arcs, and that kind of a thing. And then for the riding portion, I don't know, I might set up the barrel pattern just to have it there in case like we get bored, and like I'm like, well, I've done a lot with you, maybe we should try applying these concepts to a job instead of just working on the maneuvers, actually applying them to something that can be executed, if that makes sense. So I might do that. It sounds pretty fun. And then just working, the instructor told us to work on our loping circles this weekend. So yesterday, Jet did really well with her loping circles, and I think I can actually insert the video here. So enjoy her little loping circles, one-handed mostly. She didn't do too bad, but you know, there was definitely things to improve, so. Okay, yeah, so it was really nice. There was one moment where she kind of freaked out, put her head up and bolted, but it wasn't super big, it wasn't super bad, and so I'm pretty proud of her for doing how well she did. So yeah, other than that, I'm probably gonna work on our reverse arcs again and the counter bends, because my horse tends to lose her momentum a bit doing it. She's very forehand heavy, and so we're just working on things to get her sat back a bit more. which will help her utilize her hind end in barrel racing and in anything she'll do, which is really good. So yeah, that's the plan for today, and that's what's happened this past week. So yeah, this is her lovely new stall. Yeah, I think she likes it a lot more than the last one. She has the same stall neighbor. Yeah, don't ya? Oh. This horse does not know angles, or either knows angles really well, and I can't tell which one it is. So, and yes, she is that tall now. That poor little baby's grown up. Look at that. You can almost see her if she weren't trying to escape. There you go. Good girl. Now you're looking insanely butt high. 'Cause she's in a divot now. As much as I absolutely adore this sweatshirt, I'm afraid it's too hot now to wear it. It is a very warm sweatshirt. If you want your own, go to the link in the description and use code Cordelia10 for 10% off. I love this company and I love their messaging, and I think they're just so positive and cool. So anyway, what I've said has been said. Now you can see my terrible tan. Gosh, the sun here is no joke. Okay. You know what's the unfortunate part about this? There are still flies all over. You know, there's something to be said about Montana in the wind. And you know, I'm not gonna say it just because I don't want to jinx myself. You know, pray for rain and you get a hurricane. Oh, Jet. It's just so hard being a horse. It's the hardest thing in the world. Look at you falling asleep. Midday. You don't have to pay for bills or net. She's so cute. Oh my gosh. I'm currently in a confirmation and judging class, and every day we learn something new. And every day, well, you know, to say every day we learn something new is kind of a stretch, but every day I come here after that class and I just look at her and I just melt because she is so conformationally perfect in my eyes, you know. And every horse has their flaws. I'm not saying she's the most perfect horse ever, okay, but I mean, look at her. Look at how cute she is. Look at this pony. Look at that shoulder. I mean, come on. Who wouldn't want this kind of shoulder? She's like, stop it. Something that's also very interesting I found with her is that she's better saddling if she's not tied up anywhere. And you know, it's also really weird. This is the first time I've tied her up here this year. And put a saddle pad on her and she's had no qualms. So I think saddling her without tying her up is actually kind of helping with some things. So, yeah. It's kind of that thing that I heard Warwick Schiller say, where you shouldn't do anything tied up that they can't do standing. And you know, she wouldn't stand to have the saddle put on her, so I was like, okay, we're not gonna do it tied up. Instantly, when I stopped tying her, she stood. I have no clue what it was. Part of me thinks she just likes to see what's going on. She likes to look at everything, but I don't know. I seriously don't know. And I might be eating my words because the saddle hasn't been put on yet, but it really is. Because look at her, she just looked. She loves to look, and it's bizarre. Hi. Hey, Darwin. What are you, oh. I'm just looking the other way now. What are you looking at? You want to look at this? Is it interesting? Not interesting? Okay. I mean, if you've seen my other videos, you know that she does not usually stand so nicely, which is odd because she used to stand really nicely for this. But I don't know what happened last year. She just stopped standing for it, and then I stopped tying her up, and she's fine now. So now I'm in the ditch. She's not actually 16 hands, guys. She's 15-1. Oh, God. Good girl. I did add a breast collar to her getup over the summer. It's Rain's old breast collar, which is very sweet and sentimental because I bought it before I actually started riding Rain. When I was riding a horse named Love, who taught me so much about riding and everything. So, oh, she wants to eat. She's like, fuck that, I'm eating. She does feel absurdly tall though. I'm on her and I'm like, looking down like, geez, what's the fatality? You know? She's getting bigger, so the back cinch isn't fitting how it used to. She's like right in between it, where if I go a little looser, it's a little too loose, but if I go the same one we've been at, it's like super snug. I need to go put on my helmet, get my flag. I don't know if I'll keep the microphone because somebody is in the arena. Someone just pulled up next to me and now I'm scared to talk to myself.